begin with then, look, the battle for the playoffs and promotion continues. How do you view Chesterfield's place in it? Confident right now?
I am confident that if we keep playing the way we've been playing, that we should cement a place in the playoffs. Looking at the league table, we've lost the least amount of games, but we've drawn the most as well. So I think if we can turn those draws into wins, then we should be okay to cement a place in the playoffs. And obviously, ideally, want to finish as high as you can to give you that advantage going into the playoffs.
And have you guys spoken about that in turning that, fairly high volume of draws into those wins and getting over the line more?
Yeah, to be fair, we've been speaking about it pretty much all season because it seems to keep happening. I don't know what it is, but we tend to in the majority of the games we've drawn, we've probably most of them we've been ahead, and then they've come back. So I think that's the disappointing part of the game. We've not been able to see out games as well as we'd like to. So it's been reoccurring, but we've got to try and get that right for the last 8 or 9 games, I think it is.
And of course, it is a collective thing rather than just talking about the defence. So how do you, as a group of players, try and stop that then?
Well, it's a team game. It's not just the defending. Obviously, defending starts from the front. So we've worked on stuff in training, but at the end of the day, it probably comes down to a mentality thing. Maybe there's something we're lacking going towards the final minutes of the game that we've just got to make sure we get that right. Like I said, we've got 8 games and to put that right.
It must be quite frustrating then, because so much of what's happened this season, aside from the injuries, has gone really well. I mean, some of the football's been superb, hasn't it? There's just that kind of mental block, I suppose, at times, which has cost you.
Yeah, obviously, any other team that would have had as many injuries as us I don't think they'd be up there, second or third. So I think we've coped really well with injuries, but that's what squads are for. That's what you have a big squad for. So when you do have injuries, you can replace them. And to be fair, we've got a very strong squad. As you can see, we're still up there. We're still third with the amount of injuries we've had, which is really it's incredible, really. But it's not an excuse. At the end of the day, we've still got. I feel like we've still got to do better in terms of turning those draws into wins.
Is it better at this stage? Because whenever we talk about predictions and seeing what's what, you then look at the table and go, well, games in hand. So do you and Chesterfield obviously have played more games than a lot of the teams around them. Do you think about that as a factor right now?
To be honest, I think at the end of the day, if you've got games in hand, you've still got to win them. So it's a tough league. There's no easy games. So you could look at that. At one point, Boreham Wood had 5 or 6 games in hand. Then they've gone 2 or 3 without winning a game, and all of a sudden, those games in hand don't really mean anything because you've not won them. So all we got to do is focus on ourselves and make sure we win our games, and then everything else will take care of itself.
We talked about injuries a few moments ago. Clearly, of course, that includes yourself. 7 from 19. You happy with that return since you came back?
I'm obviously happy to be back playing. I've been back maybe 3 months now, 3-4 months, and the most positive thing for me is the fact that I've managed to get through. I've come back and I've managed to play a lot of games unscathed. So that's a big thing for me. Obviously, when you come back from a long-term injury, people expect you to have little setbacks and have little niggles, but I've managed to get through that. So that's a big thing for me. And obviously, there's 7 goals. Obviously, that's my job is to score goals. I'll go into every game believing that I can score. So it's not a bad return, but I know I can do better.
And particularly so with the injuries, you didn't just ease your way back in, did you? You were back and then you were playing again. So it's been pretty relentless.
Yeah, it's always tough when, obviously I've not had the pre-season. It's always tough when you miss pre-season because that's where you get your base fitness, which helps you get through the season. Obviously I did my running when I was coming before I come back in. but it's not quite pre-season, is it, with the lads? So yeah, it's tough when you're joining the team halfway through the season when everyone's fully fit and everyone's, but I've just said to myself, you got to get through it. Sometimes it is what it is. I ain't got time to be sitting around and waiting around. If it's halfway through the season, you just got to get on with it and then do the best you can.
And part of your goal return, sometimes you play up front by yourself, sometimes you play with a two, sometimes you play on the left hand side. Do you kind of have a preference that maybe benefits you, if you like, in that respect?
Obviously, I've always been a striker. Throughout my career, I've had little spells when I was a bit younger in the youth team where I played out on the left. I don't mind playing out there, but it sometimes depends on the game, the opposition we're playing, if we're in possession of the ball. But obviously, my preference is to play up front. As you saw last season, I played up top, and I was flying. So yeah, and I've got the number 9 shirt for a reason. So yeah, I'm a striker.
When you invariably quickly play up there, obviously he's a recent enough arrival. How do you feel that partnership is developing?
Yeah, I think obviously when with the system we play now, with the one up top, it's not as easy to develop a partnership. Obviously, when you've got 2 up top, then you kind of develop that partnership. But this is the system that the manager wants to play, and we'll have to somehow find a way to develop a partnership as a 3 rather than a 2. It makes no difference really. But yeah, we'll get there.
Grimsby this weekend, just off it but not out of contention. What do you make of them as a challenge?
Yeah, they started the season flying from what I remember. They were top for a bit, I think, or up there with us. And then they had a bit of a bad patch, but I think they've picked up a bit lately. So it'll be a tough game. Like I said, there's no easy games in this league. They'll come here. They're fighting to get in the playoffs. So there's no easy games, and we'll have to be at it tomorrow to get a result.
What do you remember of your time there?
Yeah, I spent about 12 months at Grimsby. It was my I got bought back then when I was at Solihull Moors. Marcus Bignor took me there, and just as I was finding my feet at Grimsby, scored a goal, and I was gonna get a few games. I broke down, got an injury, which set me back for the rest of the season. So by the time I come back fit, Marcus had been sacked, and a new manager had come in, and I didn't quite get my opportunity, so I ended up leaving. It was, to be fair, it was far away as well from home. At the time, I'd had a little boy, and the travelling 3.5 hours away was a bit too much for me living away from home. I wanted to be closer to home as well, so I decided to move closer to home.
People don't often think about those experiences, and of course family life away from playing football, those kind of formative things that, it's quite a while ago now that you were at Grimsby. Do you think that's kind of mentally toughened you up, or stood you in good stead for maybe what and where you are now? Yeah,
of course, because like I said, at the minute I'm travelling from Birmingham. It takes me an hour and a half to get in, and people ask me, do you do that every day? And I say, yeah. And they say, is it not too far? And I say, well, because I've had the experience of travelling 3.5 hours to Grimsby, it's like Chesterfield's around the corner for me. So I guess it's I can take the positives from that. But yeah, it's a good club. Grimsby is a massive club. They shouldn't be at this level, so it'll be a good game.
Even the A38 or the M42 ain't a challenge for you?
Nah, it's not.
Good man. Well, best of luck. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good morning, Akwasi.
Morning, you okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good stuff. So you've got 7 goals so far this season. Do you have a target in mind which would you like to achieve?
Well, my target was to get into double figures. I thought that was a realistic target from when I was coming back. January, I said to myself, if I can get myself double figures coming back from a long-term injury, then I can be proud of myself. But obviously, the main goal is for me is promotion. I really want to get promoted. I want to get out of this league. I'm 29 now, and I want to play league football with Chesterfield. So that's my main focus rather than the goals.
In terms of your fitness levels, then you've like I say you've been in a good run of games now. Where do you think you're at the minute then?
Yeah, I think I've got through that patch where we had 2 games a week for about a month, and that was a tough period on myself, on my body. Something that I've not done for a year. So I struggled a bit with recovery, and it's tough on the body when you've not had a pre-season. You're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. It's tough as it is, but I did feel it, and obviously the Southend game, you could see when I took off after 60 minutes. I had nothing. My legs were gone, and I was just literally from all the games, just the build-up. So, now we're back to Saturday, getting a bit more of a rest, and I've had those games. I've got those games under my belt, and I feel fine now. I feel good.
And do you think having no midweek games now is going to help you for the rest of the season then?
Yeah, I think we've got maybe one midweek game, but yeah, I think it helps everyone. Saturday, Tuesday, it's tough on it for anyone. You don't get enough time to fully recover. You always feel a bit leggy on a Tuesday. I feel like with Saturday, you go into every game feeling fresh. So yeah, I think it helps everyone.
And what's Paul Cook tried to introduce into your game then, which has perhaps been different from previous managers? How have you found working with him?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get the best out of me, like any other manager. Obviously, he believes in me. He thinks I'm a good player. He tells me all the time, but he wants more. He wants me to help the team, and which is understandable. I did that last season, and I want to do that again this season. I want to obviously score goals and all right performance as well to help the team to get promoted, which is the end goal. And I enjoy playing for him. He demands a lot, and I like that because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You've got to give it. You've got to give your all, and you've got to work hard for the team and for yourself. So I like that.
How big a boost will it be to get some players back from the treatment room in the next few weeks, to see some of your teammates back out there?
Yeah, obviously, we need everyone. We need everyone back to help us to get over the line. It's been tough. I've been in there. Most of the lads have been in there, and it's not nice to see. But we are getting a few lads back now, slowly. Tom Denton's back in training, and Manny's been back in training, and it's tomorrow we've got a big squad going into a big game, so it's looking a lot healthier. But yeah, we could do with some with all the bodies back, definitely.
And I understand you went and did some boxing in the week. How was that?
Yeah, I'm still feeling that bit in my shoulders, in my back. Yeah, I think it's good to do something else. Obviously, you play football every day, and then you go into a different sport like boxing, where it's very physical and you're using muscles that you're not used to. It brings something different out of you and makes you realise what they have to go through, and makes you kind of realise how much easier football is. I think the fitness levels they've got is out of this world, to be honest. To be able to do that. So yeah, it's a nice it was a nice experience, nice little learning curve.
What did you take from it then? What did you learn from it?
Well, I've learned that boxing's not for me. That's what I've learned. And you've got to, in any sport, all you see is them in the ring. You don't really see what they go through in the gym and the dedication they've got to put into. Because when you're in the ring, you're on your own. There's no one there to help you. So you got to stand up and be a man. Stand up for yourself.
Was it a good team bonding exercise?
Yeah, definitely. The lads were obviously, when we got there was 2 groups, and the lads you could see the lads are putting the work in, and it's good to see the lads putting a shift in. And we're still talking about it now. Everyone thinks they've got a bit now because they've had an hour session, but you know how it goes. They're all talk.
Who was the best then? Come on, spill the beans. Who was the best?
Well, apart from myself, I'd say apparently Dylan. Dylan he had the strongest punch, but he said he used to do boxing. So yeah, he's a big boy as well, Dylan. Alex Whittle's a bit of he's all talk. Let me leave it at that.
Who would you least like to get in the ring with then, out of your teammates?
Bloody hell. Probably Dylan, because he's done boxing before, so he'll have all the right techniques and stuff. So probably Dylan. Yeah, stay away from Dylan.